bathroom was yesterday.
Because I've been sick. That's why I wasn't in the bathroom.
One thing they tell me for mine, say, just prepare. You see anything we don't want to see. Just prepare your.
Oh Lord, that thing when they say that spiritual husband, that thing that better conjure the worry everybody that's it.
Hey.
Tell you right. For example, that's just like you rightly described it. All those word is pure biology, pure science. And in my case, I would use myself as an example. Sometimes when I sleep with a full bladder, like when I'm pressed and I'm sleeping, you know, I don't know about, you know, some other people, but if you ask me, I can tell you that having a full bladder can lead to some sensations. So when I'm sleeping and I'm pressed, it can make me, you know, feel tangled, you know,
moist,
and, you know, reflect in the dream, and then it seems like you are doing something, you know. So like she rightly said, it could be your thought process, like you rightly said, biology, but overall of it is mindset. Which kind of spiritual with spiritual guinea? There's no spiritual. Until go and do something and do it well. Do it with the right person.
Hey.
I'm gonna crush for person, including the ones when they use my picture. They do their thing for bad. What that they use. When I do and finish, when I go send us nothing like spiritual. The way they admire, I need to disturb you for head. You know? There is no.
Yeah. Yesterday, one guy was around. You didn't watch yesterday?
I did, but to an extent. I joined late.
When one guy called, when he talk, say, in babe, get spiritual husband. I tell her, I say, sure, you know, say the spiritual husband go, they arrange your babe, sha. Making me jealous. I say, look at this guy.
When I was,
he was jealous of the spiritual husband.
My very first boyfriend had accused me. He even, let me not go there. Let me not bring his mom in the picture. But he even went to an extent telling me how they dreamt, how their pastor told him about me. I have this and have that. I'm like, hell no. I don't believe in all those things. They made me want to believe it, and they tried to impose it on me to believe things like that exist. You know, but these wet dreams are normal science. You know, it happens. I've had it in my dream. And funny enough, that one is sweet. All those spiritual.
Oh God.
Those things they do that. They sabi do. Hey. And they best me for that thing. You say, hey, the thing not gonna let you come. The thing will hang you like this.
That's when you wake up.
Yesterday I do am self. I started doing yesterday. Now yesterday I do am.
From this summer, only life spiritual. In fact, you're about to divorce your spiritual husband and new marriage contract.
No, but for real, that thing that be do. For real.
God.
They're on the sweet rich medulla. But they're not gonna let you come there. Now you are not like. For sudden go leave me make a reach there. I'm gonna say I do, I'm enjoying. And then they hang me. I don't like that kind of hanging. They say me do fast.
Hey.
So
Please. Share your spirit.
There's nothing bad luck, nothing like that. Go hustle, I beg. Which kind of bad luck? I beg.
Don't mind them.
Let me believe they happen to you. I don't believe in all those things.
My grandma they tell me say, if I stop for sleep, say na bad luck. I say, grandma, nothing concern me. Say me where I chop this night. Say any night no chop for sleep. I never sleep the sleep complete.
But
I cry.
Let me tell you what happened when
wait. They chop for sleep. Person carry my food run. Now they
let me tell you what happened when I was growing up. There was a time I was sick. I was really sick. So I came out on our estate, and one woman that was passing by stopped by and told me that somebody gave me something I ate in my dream, and that's why I was sick. And to be honest, I ate a food somebody brought me in that dream, and I took ill the next day. I didn't really know what was wrong with me, but the lady said that to me. But initially it sounded funny in my house because when I returned from school, because they brought me back from school, my dad, got to know that this is what happened, that I said I ate in my dream. I thought I was like, food. It's not this one he eats in his dream every day.
Now, let me break it down to you, yeah. Sometimes you need to understand how your mind works.
Mm-hmm.
Your mind is I tried to explain this yesterday. Your mind is a dash cam. You know what a dash cam is? Those cameras that record in the car so they're good, they catch accidents and all sorts of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Is a dash cam that records perpetually. Now, your mind also tries to coordinate your body and give you explanations for different things.
That's right.
If you ache, your mind is trying to tell you, if you develop a tummy ache while you are asleep, your mind will try to tell you that, look, your tummy, there's something wrong with your tummy. So your mind can give you a picture of you eating in your sleep, and that is what led to your tummy pain.
I believe you 100%.
So yes, fine. I know with witchcraft, some people can eat inside dream, and when me they chop inside dream.
I believe it's because let me move a bit away from what we're talking about. The reason is, our monthly thing. I always see mine in my dream, and once I wake up, I'll see that in reality is happening. I mean, while I'm asleep, I will see it in the dream, and then when I wake up, so like you said, physical controls the spiritual. You see that, the eggs the crumbs are happening while you're asleep, and then somehow reflecting in your dream, based depending on what your whole mind is doing at that moment, that relaxation. So it channels it there. So I mean, that's how those things work. But I mean, I know there are people that evil spirit disturbs. I think I would say those people are possessed, and not necessarily, it could be spiritual man or spiritual woman. So now, if their problem na konji stage, they worry them. I mean, if it's the most immediate need at that time, that kind of spirit they go only for konji style, only konji level, only that side, that thing they carry them, they go. If no, who level they, the spirit gonna go who level, who side. If the husband they find, the spirit will carry they go husband side. So whatever it is that is your immediate need, now the spirit will carry they go there. So for those of them who say then they collect them for dream, like me, if you be like me, maybe say you don't take my own don't rust safe. I bet conjure me for dream, but that one I they see pass.
Oh my God.
Gentleman.
I don't know who wake me up last night, but maybe people say try again. I beg. When I make a finish that next time. They sleep die.
We have somebody
here.
Yeah.
You're gonna squeeze yourself.
Hi, Daddy. Please.
You're gonna squeeze yourself as they sleep. They squeeze yourself for bed. They squeeze like this. Like say you won't get the thing. Forget that thing they sleep, man. Don't lie.
All right, bros. With the way, share your experience.
Yeah, Daddy Freeze. I greet you all, everyone. I hope you can hear me well.
Very clearly. We just can't see you.
Oh yeah, the lighting here is so bright. I think, yeah.
So,
okay. Well, I've had some experiences. I will first of all say that we as humans, we are spirit, soul, and body. So spirit, soul, and body. Yeah. So we must understand all those three parts of humanity. And also, he that, like the Bible says, he that is born of the spirit is of the spirit. When one is born again, you're born of the spirit. So, and he that is born of the flesh is of the flesh. So the flesh has its own lusts. The spirit has what you feed it to grow, and the soul too has what you feed it to grow. So I'm going to start with this true life story. I hope my ex is not watching right now, though, because it was a practical experience. Yeah. She actually told me a story. She said her parents, when they were looking for children, they couldn't get any children. So they approached, these Olokun worshippers, people that worship this river god. They tie this white and white. And then they took the mom and the dad went to meet the Olokun priest, and they did some sacrifices and all that. And after some months, the mother conceived and gave birth to twins. They are twins. And then they brought them back to the river god to do some dedication, and they were told that every year you come and do some sacrifices. So after some years, they stopped going to do those sacrifices. And then that spirit started fighting them back. And before they knew it, the dad died. And I think I saw her mom too, because I met her mom. Then a year or two later, the mom too had the same sickness that killed the dad, killed the mom. And the first day she visited me, I have this, I will say I have this spiritual gift that if any lady comes who has any spiritual issues that comes around me, I'm going to see it in the dream. It's not as if whether I thought about it or not. So when she came, the first time she came to my place, stayed over, I had a strange dream. I saw her lying down on the bed, and I saw 10 men. They surrounded her. And they took, in fact, I was watching them, they surrounded her. As I wanted to stand up, all of them brought out their knives, their short knives, all of them at the same time. And then the leader of the gang looked at me and told me if I try to help her, they're going to kill her. That was what he told me. And I'm somebody that don't back down from any of these things, whether you claim to be spiritual or not, we'll fight it out. So I was stubborn. I said, I'm going to fight this thing out. I'm not going to leave this lady because of this thing. And before meeting me, this lady have met several men before me, and all they do is chase her away. They will use her and dump her. That's what they do. So it got to my time, so I started fighting this battle. Before I knew it, they started attacking my health. They attacked my business too. My business started going down. I was like, what's happening? And I escaped accidents several times. These were accidents that, as in life, that could have killed me, but God just saved me from that accident. And they would appear to me several times and warn me and try to fight me. That was when I really believed that, man, this is actually true. It happens. It's not every case that is spirit husband or spirit spouse. So it's not just time to be females alone. Both males too have theirs. No, why when you talk about having issues of sex in the dream, it is not the issue of spirit husband, like people always say. You
intimate in your dream.
Being intimate in the dream doesn't mean a spirit husband. It doesn't mean a spirit spouse. It doesn't. It doesn't. But people just, some of these people who are maybe too spiritual, they'll tell you that you have sex in the dream.
Excuse me, sir.
No, biology comes to play.
Excuse me, sir, you not finish the story. What happened with the 10?
Okay. Yeah, that's what I said. That when after those period, I started facing it was a tug of war. Like I said, they attacked my business, attacked my health. They wanted to even eliminate me. I escaped from terrible accidents. I'm telling you, I escaped from terrible accidents. I would have claimed my life because I was stubborn. I said, I'm going to help her out in this case because I took her for prayers and all that. They will cause misunderstanding between us. We'll start quarreling for no reason. Just quarrel and just so that we could fight. So, but at the end of the day, it didn't work out.
So this
between us.
10 men.
I've been a spiritual husband. Which one?
I want to know your husband again. There are 10 men. Your story. 10.
No, make a
No, they would definitely when it comes to issues like this, they wouldn't even just appear to you like always often like this is how they are going to be appearing to you. It may be just one single person coming. maybe God just opened my eye to see what was
But
happening.
Oh,
You know,
I
basically.
believe you, right? I believe you as well. Sorry, let me share this little story. Growing
sorry,
up,
very quick, before you start your own, let me just finish with this, sir. Sir,
okay.
hold on. So after
Uh,
the 10 men, everything happened. Yeah. So you wanted to
yeah.
be the Jesus in our lives, but you could ran away. So after you ran away now, did your
I didn't
business
run.
pick up? Did your life
I
go
didn't
back to
run.
normal?
In fact, I didn't run. I proposed to her. I was the first man that ever proposed to
Yeah,
her in her
right.
life.
Bro,
Okay.
I was the first man. Yeah.
you supposed to
So I didn't rush. She was, we couldn't agree together, and there was this misunderstanding. She was the constant nagging over
Right.
nothing was
Okay,
excessive.
but did your
You
business
get
pick
so
up after you guys ended things? Like, did you go back,
yeah, of
everything
course.
was better? Okay.
Yes,
I
Okay.
think
exactly.
it was
That's all I want to know.
at that
Yeah.
moment. I mean, you know, when you're not at peace with somebody, your partner, everything seems to crumble because there's
Yeah.
always misunderstanding. You're not reasoning very well, distracted, and stuff like that.
Right.
But sorry, um, I believe your story in the sense that there was this girl, my sister's neighbor in the past. Her house help, similar to what you just shared. The funny enough, is a little girl. Is a girl, you know, a little girl. She was hers that she was taken to her chief priest, and they made her believe that she was going to marry the chief priest when she grows. So the girl left the village to the city, and then they kept disturbing her in her dream. You know, not just in her dream. Sometimes she'll pass out. You know, she'll see these men pulling her to the shrine and things like that. You know, so I know things like that happen. Parents sometimes, because they are desperate and they want they end up taking their children and giving their life where they shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
But is that a spiritual husband?
That's a spiritual
Well,
commitment.
yeah, it's a spiritual spouse. You know, this spirit spouse is the way they operate. Some are damn very wicked. Some will not. Some will allow you get married, but even before you get married, it's going to be a tug of war.
Yeah.
You know, and after getting married, they may not allow you have child. You may be looking for a child for donkey
Can I ask
years.
you,
You won't get that
these
child.
people in the
Yeah,
medical world? I'm sorry, I'm on the medical side, so I don't. Most
yeah.
of us don't really believe in all the spiritualism thing.
I know that, of course.
In psychology, I mean, these people you see that, gain gratification, they like to sniff, on these stuffs like that. That's the way they gain their satisfaction. And, some of them go as far as, what I'm saying, before they can get those. Are you still going to tag that are you going to tag that as a mental illness or spiritual problem?
There, like you said before, there's spirit spouse issue, there's spiritual problem issues. Like, when it comes to spiritual problems, there are some people that have
But I think you
this,
didn't.
like we always talk about generational
I don't.
curse,
No, that
generational disease. Like for my dad before he was was a stargazer. He was a stargazer, and then his dad too was a stargazer. That's my grandfather. So, and it got to a point when my dad got born again. Actually, they wanted him back to still become that stargazer, but he actually
What's the stag?
refused and ran away.
What's the stag is attack?
Those people that read palm, they can read your palm, look at your palm,
Uh,
and they will
you know they watch
your future, everything about you
they watch
through the reading of.
open
what's the stag is at stag is at? So what's with this one again? Please.
I just called them that, and I just called them
even
that, So, but they can read your palm and tell you your future, tell you everything about you. They can tell you everything. There was, okay. Let me share a personal experience with you now. My
these are
dad
mental problems.
the first two my dad married. My dad actually married a witch, and when he married her, yeah, I'm telling you, this is a true life
your,
story now.
your papa stargazer, your grandfather stargazer, your papa still marry winch. Bros,
I beg.
like
My dad
Seriously,
married
your
a
family
witch.
need deliverance. Was this one too much?
My dad married, and this it's not joke really. That was something that it's actually actually affected me too. This is a
This
true
one a
life story.
generational.
After he married, see, when he married that
Mm.
witch, things turned bad. He worked in Costain, West Africa. Costain, West Africa, here in Lagos. We were in Meduguri before we moved to Lagos, transferred to Lagos. He worked in Costain for 27 years. And before he got his job in Costain, he didn't have any job. In fact, when he married that woman, everything just went down and he had tuberculosis, battled that for many years. Until one day he had to go to church. When you start having issues, troubles, you look for solution. And he went to this white garment church. And then that was where they told him, your wife is a witch. And that was how he chased that woman away. That woman had 3 children. She killed 2 of them and remained only one guy.
Poor woman.
And that guy's
Poor woman.
that guy's life became miserable. That guy's life is the first son, but it became miserable. Do you know that after my dad divorced her and married my mom, this woman started fighting me and my mom and my siblings. Spiritual war now. Very old woman now. She's in the village. I said, if I know this woman, if I go to the village, I'll go and beat her up myself. But it's more than a physical fight, And
Connect. You say your father and grandfather, your father's father are stargazers. So as the father, they read palm. Reading wife palm before you marry wish.
Alora.
no, my grandfather, like I said, was a stargazer. Before he was introduced into that, he had already married this woman.
Okay, so after
Before he was
married,
introduced
he
into
became
that.
the stargazer.
I thought those things are usually nature. I thought they were usually kind of inborn, like a gift from birth. Are they usually inherit? I mean, something you transfer or you initiate? I mean, I thought it's something like you born with.
Some are gifted and some actually have to go through learning of it. They have to learn it. Yes, some are naturally gifted, while some have to learn it. So each time now, take note. There were issues happening. I was having series of attacks, and now imagine, look at it this way. When I went for, not only me, in fact, when we went for series of prayers in different places, just like you go to Kanu, you go to Lagos and Kwara, and they are telling you the same thing. They said your dad's first wife is so. And these are people who don't know themselves at all. Isn't that telling you something? And apart from that, it's something I see myself, and I know how the battle has been, If I tell you what I went through, even to some things I'm suffering now because of that.
I don't think you
some
see
health
wife,
issues I'm
I
having
don't
because
you
of
see
that.
wife, because this your story is long. This is your family problem.
Yeah.
You need deliverance.
So I'm just trying to share that so you could have an idea of all this stuff. That's just all.
Let's bring some. God bless you.
Ask you one question, real quick. Daddy Freeze, are you taking him out?
Thank
you. Yes.
Can I ask him a question real quick?
Yeah.
It may seem a little personal.
All right.
Mind me asking. Okay, you shared the first story. You talked about you don't know if your ex is listening, and a lot of people know you, and I think most people also know the person you may have dated or the person you may have shared the story with. You may have shared the story with a couple of friends in the past. So how do you think that girl would feel if she hear you or watch this?
But well, first of all, I don't think she'll feel that bad because she knows it's a true story.
Did she consider?
She knows, and she was the one that shared it with me. It's not as if she didn't tell me and all that. She told me herself, and it's something she knows is real. So it's not as if I fabricated it. You get. So she definitely won't be offended. Although I know she's sleeping right now. Though she's not in Lagos either, and she's sleeping right now. She sleeps early. Apart from that, I don't think she'll get upset.
Lisa, where are you from?
That,
which village?
I'm from Ondo State.
So we know where to avoid. Thank you, sir.
I stay in Lagos. Yeah, it's not about where I come from or where one comes from. You get.
All right, God. We don't take all night or all morning. Ibis Love Haven, they say you cannot join. What's wrong, bro?
Or maybe it expired, or she was unable.
Maybe you take me and add her.
No, you
no,
can.
Don't worry. I have space.
Hi, Daddy Freeze. I'm here.
Hi,
everyone.
Hi.
Oh, okay, so Shikama saw you balo. Ni mo boyo badada. Shikama saw you balo.
Samaria Ogbo.
Samaria, exactly. Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
So, Daddy Freeze, this I want to go back to the topic now. Ogbanje, whatever. You know, after the session yesterday, 2 people chatted me up, you know, because they needed help and they thought I could help because of what I do. So after interviewing the first guy, he narrated the story. At the end of the day, he's not spirit husband. It's not spirit's wife. It's Konji, right? But the other lady, she needed help. You know, she would, you know, sleep, do knock-knock, wake up, and she will see all sort of on her body. Do you understand what I'm saying? She's not touching herself. Even when you touch yourself, you're not going to see anything on your body because you're not the one, you know, bringing it out. It's a man that is bringing it out. In your illustration, you mentioned that 1%. Either we want to take this or we don't want to take this. It's real. It is real. We might not embrace that. And I want to say, Samaria, there is a spirituality in psychology. Field, he believes so much in spirituality. There is spirituality in psychology. There is a program I was watching in the US so many years ago. I went there for maternity leave to deliver. And what they do is they call spirits. That's all they do. They are not Nigerians. Daddy Freeze, you can Google it and look for it. They are not Nigerians, so I probably would have said, oh, okay, maybe they fabricated some lies. It is very real. And what they do is they just help people. If someone dies, they go there, they call the spirits. These
that is called a seance.
Sorry?
It's called a seance.
The seance. They go there, they call out the spirit, they talk to the spirit, and they want to know what's going on, what killed them. They want to know the circumstances. Some people are even disturbed. Thank you. There is spirituality in psychology. Some of them are even disturbed at night because of all the spirits moving around. They are not Nigerians. They are Americans.
I know.
They are Americans. And there was one that happened. She gets disturbed all the time at night. The lady, she came in. I stopped watching this show because it was disturbing my sleep at the time. You know, when you are now dreaming about what is happening and you've watched all day. You know, she came in to rescue someone. I think she got it. That other lady, she got a new house and she couldn't even have a prophet rest in her house. And when they came, you know, she was having sexual intercourse in the dream all the time. So they came. Yes, they came. They were right there. And they know how to, they know what they do to call the spirit. And they were there. Daddy Freeze, are you checking it? You can check it. Someone said they are ghosts.
I know all these things. I know
you know all
these
things. Yes. They came. She was sitting right there in the living room. And you know, somebody came. The ghost came again to torment this lady. So there is that 1%. There is that 1% that is spiritual husband. It is real. You know, I was on the show yesterday and I wrote it there. I said, okay, that other lady, she narrated her story. She wasn't even lying. You could listen to her story. She couldn't even bring out her face because there is a lot, you know. She's suffering a lot. She couldn't even bring out her story.
Now, hold on a second, yeah. The fact that it exists doesn't mean your own or that lady's is genuine. You see, you need to understand that when all you feed your mind is spirituality, the moment your situation has no logical explanation to you, you will start to go down the spiritual route.
Yeah, that's
I spirituality, but I believe in putting spirituality last, not first. You are not making money what are you doing wrong in your business? If you see that you are doing everything right and then you are not making money, then you can now start going spiritual. The average Nigerian would go spiritual first because it's the wired. Now, I watched, growing up, there used to be this show I used to watch on DSTV. It's called Creepy.
Okay.
Now, on Creepy, they used to show ghosts. America till today, if you want to sleep in a room with a ghost, there are haunted hotels in America. Just Google it. Haunted hotels. There are people whose job it is to chase ghosts. I forgotten there was a show I used to watch. Those people used to literally, if you have ghost problem in your house, they'll come and help you drive away the spirit.
I was addicted to this thing. I stopped watching. I stopped watching it. Yeah.
Not Ghostbusters, more of a movie.
You're not pastors.
This was a real that I watched. One girl that used to come and help people chase ghosts. If you see the girl wear tight jeans, dressed like normal babe. She just came to the house. They just called her, said yes, that there's a ghost in this house, and this is what they're going to do. They're going to do this, that. And the girl drove the ghost away.
Stories.
You also need to understand is, in Nigeria, we want to create activity. Some people have the gift of being able to see these things.
Yeah.
Have the gift of understanding how these phenomena work. But if I come to your house and I spend 5 minutes and I drive away a ghost, how does that profit me? Let me tell you, there's something called my business philosophy. It's a business philosophy I discovered. It's called the poo-poo, not the poo-poo, but the other word for it, philosophy. You are not a businessman until you can sell poo-poo. You are not a good businessman until they tell you thank you for this poo-poo. And you're not going to be successful until they come back and buy more poo-poo. Okay. Every business model that is successful is built on that. So Apple will sell you this same phone. They made the camera bigger and they will sell it to you the next year as a fresh phone. And you will buy it and you will say thank you to it. And when you buy it, you realize that there are Infinix phones that are. Same thing with Samsung. Same thing with Mercedes-Benz. Imagine buying a Mercedes-Benz and you don't have to buy another one for the rest of your life. How are they be successful? The success model of a business requires you coming back year after year, month after month, week after week to patronize them. The average Nigerian knows that it is actually going to take 30 minutes of him walking into your house to drive a ghost. But guess what? The average Nigerian man has the Apple mentality. He wants to sell you an iPhone 14 the next year after he sold iPhone 13. So he's on a plan and makes it look like you have to attend his church weekly. What does that guarantee? A steady stream of income. He makes it look like because he has done this for you, you don't want this thing to come back, so pay your tithe. Another steady monthly income. Then, because you are attending his church, you are also going to help him advertise his business. So just because of you and one thing that he has a gift for, he has created a clean line of business. That is why we don't know the genuine ones from the fake ones in Nigeria.
That freeze. When that guy started yesterday, like I said, I chatted with two persons. They probably saw me on the show. The first person, if he's here, he's probably listening to me right now. It started with, I attend RCCG. The truth is, when it comes to things like this, I don't push spirituality forward first. Although in my line of study, there is spirituality. There is spirituality in psychology. I don't push it forward. He started with, I attend RCCG. That's not my concern. By the time I started interviewing him, Then we got to discover that, okay, he's attracted to older women. Then we got to discover that he's addicted to PORN. Then we discovered that, you know, so his own is not spiritual. I just told him, your own is not spiritual. It's not spiritual husband, though. So
It's
let's put that one. It's not spiritual husband. It's spiritual self. You are dealing with yourself. It's not spiritual. It's but your other lady, honestly, you get what I'm trying to say. You wake up, you see yourself, you see all manner of, you know, on your body. There is a
all
problem.
manner of, or what?
No, all manner of. I don't want to say it.
Let me tell you something.
Almost.
Have you taken that thing that you see on your body? Have you taken it to a lab?
Well, I didn't ask her that. Maybe she should, but you know.
Let me tell you a story. There used to be this man who believed his house was haunted. He will go to bed, wake up, and his whole house is scattered. His body will be full of marks. He brought it to me. It was on this show, I think 2-3 years ago. I said, brother, he was convinced it was spiritual. I said, brother, get a CCTV camera. Put it in every room in your house and let it record all night. Watch and come and tell me. Do you know this guy will go and sleep? In the middle of the night, he wake up by himself, unconscious.
Sleepwalking.
Crash and come back to sleep.
Wow.
Keep walking. Psychological.
It is psychological, yes.
Now, when she sees all manners of things on her body, we are in 2022. Let them go and test that thing. If it is a man's situation, a lab attendant that started learning work 2 days ago will be able to tell you. For all you know, it is your decision. Before I go into anything spiritual, put the camera, get those situations tested. You understand? There is no way they will. You are a Samaritan. If you look at a man's fluid under the microscope, you can tell. Can't you tell? Let me tell you, a female egg is actually visible to naked eye. It's like not a full stop.
Oh yeah.
If you be able to see, it's like a full stop. It's big enough for your eye to see. So when somebody wakes up and says she sees all manners of things on her body, it tends to sound convincing. But until you've done all the biological, all the physical tests, you cannot categorically say that, oh, this is spiritual. It is when you've explored all the possibilities and then truly she's alone in a room and then she sees a man's, what is it?
Well, if she's here, she might be listening. I could tell her to go do that. But at the same time, there is that 1% that frees. That thing is real. There is that 1%. Yeah.
Hold on. 1%, yes. But you need to understand that many people are deceived by religion and all the stories around us to believe that they are part of that 1%. It's very hard for you to be part of that 1%. Your mind sometimes deceives you. And what I said, you'll be amazed. Let this woman go and do those tests. You will see that it will not be anything. Unless, you see, if you stay alone in a room, and do you realize that sometimes, especially for people that live alone, do you know that there are people who pass inside your ceiling? You know, they watch all these movies. Crazy people, they stay people out. They're going to live inside your attic, you don't know.
Oh, yes.
Down for night. Do one for your body. Go back inside ceiling. There was a movie I watched even recently.
There is the woman in the mirror too. That they have something like that.
Where the guy was living in their house. Inside their roof. They know.
Yeah.
And the guy was forming like he was a repairman and something like that.
Yes. The woman in the mirror, something like that. The woman by the window, something like that. Yes.
While do they sleep, The guy come down.
Yes.
He takes himself, reach for your body, go back inside the ceiling. Is that spiritual? Sometimes you have an ex-boyfriend that has a key to your apartment and he knows you are a deep sleeper.
So then go they knock petty, you go they sleep, you know go wake up.
You go sleep. You go do what you go do, come on, go.
Wow.
Sometimes they frog you. They go into your fridge, they know you drink orange juice. They just spike your orange juice. You go drink the orange juice, sleep. Once you sleep like this, if he play with you for 2 hours, nothing will do you. You don't go wake. And because you wake up and you see these things as real, you now would tend to believe the only logical thing that your mind can conceive, and that's the spirituality of it. So, before you say it is spiritual, I'm not saying it is not spiritual, but we have to rule out every physical possibility first, and then we go to spiritual. First physical possibility, your mind is playing tricks on you. You are hallucinating.
Oh, I know that.
Are illusional. Problem number 1. Problem number 2, you're doing it to yourself without knowing. Problem number 3, someone is doing it to you physically. When you've been able to isolate each of these possibilities and eliminate them properly, then you can now start going spiritual. Tell the lady to install CCTV camera inside her house. Straight. Any day she wakes up and sees any fluid that is strange on her, let her take it to a lab, get it tested. If it is not a man's fluid, then it's her mind. If it is a man's fluid, there's still a possibility of physical. Is somebody breaking into her home while she sleeps? All these American houses, sure you know, say, when I not get burglary proof. Sure you
but we have doors that speak. So if you're not a deep sleeper, you should hear it when they come in.
People will sleep through a storm. Some people will sleep through a tsunami. I know person where go their house, rob, shoot their papa, in no wake.
Oh boy.
At the room, they leave the bed, in the bed, he fall with the bed. He fall there, continue to sleep. If they see one person, another person, one of their uncles run, jump over fence, fall inside their neighbor house, break leg. In no. So you also need to understand that some people are very deep sleepers. So before you start looking at, oh, this must be spiritual, you say something and man something, they can't check and they say natata.
Daddy freezy. How can I want to freeze there?
You will be amazed.
If she's hyperovulating at that period, yes, it can be some mucus from. Yeah.
It could be anything. You'll be amazed what it is. Let them test it.
Okay.
In 2022, let them test it. They don't find cure for COVID. They don't find medicine where people they take now for COVID now. You won't come tell me say they see one mucus for your body. They don't go tell you which part of the body and which whether a male and female it come from in 2020.
They would get it.
They would. So let's stop living like, let's stop this our Nigerian archaic mentality that we are taking abroad. You live in America. You are surrounded by labs and scientists and because pastor use you chop. Before pastor use you chop, first of all, do all the groundwork. Make sure say waiting they do you.
Now go use pastor chop and say yes. So
when you are 100% convinced that no be normal, then you can now start using spiritual leg. Because even abroad, all these spiritual people for Yankee, they want to shoot YouTube video.
Sure.
So they need you. Let me tell you, sometimes person it be like my mechanic one day. The guy get work. Now so person bring motor come. You get. It was broke. We push the car, go up, push the car, come down. I just took the guy. I say, see the wire of the contact sets those days. The wire no dey inside. Mechanic look and say, no talk anything. Do you know that they push this car for 2 hours? Meanwhile, we all know it's in the worry the car. The mechanic no just one drum.
Oh boy.
Car sleep overnight. So that thing go give the guy bill of one wire away come out. So by the time the guy came the next month, say, we don't do your motor. We just push the car up, push the car down like 1 hour. The guy said, okay, more pack car inside, come down, go sleep. The guy never, as he enter bus, the boss, they go for yonder, they start the motor, they walk. But they know if they do it like that, if you give them 5, then they come back, they say, this cable spoil for this case, they have 15,000. You understand? So sometimes they know the solution to your problem, but they know that if they give it to you too easy, you are not going to make any money. I remember one day when I first started work at Cool FM, my boss then was Chris Ubos. So Chris Ubos told me some people came from some company, they wanted to do a jingle. You know what? A radio advert. They say, talk to them. Now the guy say, I want a jingle like this, I want like this, like this. I say, yes, give me 10 minutes. Now I go, it's me where I want to show, say, as I be the work. Now I collect the jingle, enter inside studio, come out. As I give, I just notice say my guy just they vex, they look me. Instead of you to tell this man to come back at 6 o'clock in the evening, you are making your work look like a no-brainer. So that's how I can enter inside the studio.
Bros, you go chop blocking, no Kelvin currency. You go chop blocking.
Saying something in the comment section. That's not nice. If you don't
Kelvin,
disagree, that's fine.
For this rubbish argument. Now, so they go to slap your papa every day. Mechanic go slap him, mad person go slap him, winch go slap him, wizard go slap him. When they slap your papa finish, they go come begin they conk your mama every day. As I don't talk and so it go be. All your children go to slap, go to chop, slap and conk. As you did like this, no usefulness will come out for your body. If they squeeze you like orange, no drop of destiny, of useful destiny, if it come out for your body. As you did like this, you don't embrace uselessness as an aroma. As you did like this, your destiny, if they drop out for ground, you don't go make sound because na korofo. Oya collect your rapture since your papa and mama no get sense. I don't block him in whole lineage. When they conquer mama and they slap him papa for 1 week, in body go dey okay. Back to the absence. Can we please explore the physical to a logical conclusion before we chase quality? Then a lot of people don't want to agree that they are not well. Psychologically, their minds are not okay. But if you talk, it go be like say they fight them. Sometimes you need to tell some people to see a psychiatrist.
At least a psychologist. I'm not done. You can see me.
Serious.
I'm sorry, sister. Like you rightly said, spirituality, we believe in spirituality even in the medical world, you know.
Yeah.
So when I say spiritual, natural, psychology, all those things, doesn't mean that there's no spirituality. There is. But we over reason things, you know.
Yeah.
With the word okay.
Daddy Freeze, I'm looking at comment section here.
I'm sorry, Daddy Freeze, I go. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Bye, Samaria. I just want to quickly say something. If you have such a problem, I want people to know that psychology says you are what you see, what you eat, and what you listen to. So what you see all the time, what you listen to all the time, because I'm beginning to sound like Daddy Freeze now when I'm arguing with people in tithes and offering. Why? Because I listen to him. So that is psychology for you. You are what you eat, what you listen to, and what you read. So if you are having wet dream all the time, you might want to examine yourself properly. If you are addicted to PORN, trust me, you're going to be having this wet dream all the time, because that is what psychology says. And that is why we advise people, be mindful of what you read, because that's what you will become. Be mindful of what you listen to, because that's what you will become. Be mindful of what you eat, because that is what you will become. And that is what psychology says. And that's all I want to say. Just be mindful.
So well said. We have one guest, and I'm going to just do this in 2 minutes. Oh, yeah, tell us.
Daddy Freeze, good evening or good morning.
Yes.
Thanks for having me. So I've been listening to what everybody's saying. I just want to like give my own personal life experience. I know be Ogbanje, but mine is a little bit different. And spirituality is real. It's just plenty lies where people they lie on top of the thing. Come make and be like say it's not real, but it is real. So I don't have any experience when it comes to like personal experience when it comes to spiritual husbands. The only one I know is, you know, as I listen to stories. But growing up until I graduated from the university, I used to, it doesn't happen anymore now, but I used to see things that would happen, like before it gets to the end of whatever was happening, I would tell you the end point. I don't know if you're understanding me. Like, if I'm having a conversation with somebody now, it will look like this conversation has held before, and I would
Deja
know
vu.
the exact,
Like a deja vu.
yeah, kind of like, I know exactly, like, okay, let me give you an instance of something that happened when I was in school. So I was sitting under the tree in school with my friend, and 4 people walked by. It was 3 guys and a girl. So I think the girl was one of their girlfriends, and they were seeing the girl off. I was in the hostel then. So while they were walking past us, and we weren't that close to them, but I could hear the entire conversation. Like, I felt like these 4 people that were walking past us has walked past me before. Like, the whole thing was just exactly the same. So, but then I didn't understand what it was. So anything I see, I would tell my friend. So I told my friend, like, these people where they waka like this, maybe they don't waka like this before. My friend was like, no. So I told my friend that they shouldn't go to the gate, because they were heading to the gate. I said they shouldn't get to the gate, because when the last time they walked like this, when they got to the gate, it was just 3 of them that ran back. So like, say 5-6 minutes later, the 3 of everybody in this, like around the school, the hostel and all that, started to run. And I saw 3 of them run back. There were actually 4 that walked past us before, but only 3 of them ran back. So there was more like, I don't know if it was a shootout or something, and one of them did not come back. So, but when that happens, I just say it out. And then at some point, people started pointing fingers at me that I was possessed and I was all that kind of, you know, so I stopped. But I'm just trying to say, like, there's something called spirituality. It happens. And I don't know about spiritual husband. Let me tell you something else. What my mom told me when I was like 12 years old, like where we lived that time was like in a swamp. I think we don't get monagari with a drink safe. So my mom was like, she was cooking that night, and she was trying to teach me how to pound yam. So me, I don't like pound anything that has to do with pounding yam. And she was, you know how African moms are. She was like, oh, you need to learn how to pound this yam, because you know you're going to marry someday, and if you don't learn how to pound, you won't be able to pound for your husband and all that kind of stuff. So I told my mom, she was telling me the story. So I told my mom that, is it a black man that I will marry now? Wasn't it a white man that I married before? And she was shocked, because I think according to her, that was the first time I said something like that. And she was like, what do you mean? Wasn't it a white man that you married before? I was like, I'm not going to marry a black. it doesn't make sense now that I'm saying it, but to me, I know what I'm saying. So it was later, as time goes on, like I explained to my mom that I've been married before, and I was married to a white man. So that was why I made that statement. So I don't know how to explain it. But for example, let me give you like live example now, like this live video we're doing now. If it was like before, like say 8 years ago, I will tell you who's going to come on next, what the person is going to say. And I'll be saying it like I'm discussing with you. Like, it's not like I'm trying to reveal something to you. It's just like gist. Like, hey, this person will work out like this now. This person should be that time we work out past it fall. And before the end of the whole thing, that person would fall or something like that. So that's just what I just want to share quickly. Now I'm married. Me that told my mom when I was 12 years old that she been a white man I married before. She a black man I will marry now, like as a 12-year-old kid. Now I'm married, and I'm married to a white man. Like, so the whole thing.
Question for you. Somebody said, please, will Peter Obi win next year?
No, I know they say anything again. I better go. Don't be real. I know they say peace. Don't come find me. Come. I don't do.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, muted.
Okay, sorry. This conversation is very interesting, but we have to end it now. We could continue again tomorrow. Thank you all so much, Deborah, Samaria, Bukola, Ibi's Love Haven, and the last lady that just joined us to share her experience, Winnie. We'll be discussing this in earnest tomorrow. Thank you all so much. We've been on for quite a while. I appreciate you guys. Take care, and all my.
Bye.
Bye.